Guys that sleep with other guys' girlfriends, do you feel bad afterwards? Why or why not? I had a brief friends with benefits arrangement with a girl who had a boyfriend. I didn't know the guy, and I was young and impetuous at the time. After time went on, I started to feel bad about it. It all came to a head when she told me she wanted to leave him to be with me and I said no. She asked why not. I said I couldn't trust her as a girlfriend. She asked why. I said you've literally spent the last 2 months cheating on your boyfriend. With me. Why else do you think? She has to be crazy to ask why. I lost a mate this way. We were really close friends and he was going through a rough time with his then girlfriend. She decided to get back at him by writing some bullshit in her journal about her and I hooking up and then conveniently left it out so he would see it. It was 100% untrue. Friend confronted me on it, and I told him it was untrue but he didn't believe me. We stopped talking after that. He eventually reached out to me about 6 months later after she admitted to him that she had made it all up. The damage was done, and we never were the same again. A buddy's wife tried to get with me once. I told her she had 90 seconds to call her husband, my best friend from high school, put the call on speaker, and explained to the two of us why she was a complete piece of shit. Or I'd call him myself. They divorced the next month. I did it twice not knowing they had boyfriends. Yes, I felt bad afterwards and I totally cut contact when I found out. Same for me, but I didn't feel bad as in guilty. I felt bad in that I felt used. All moral badness goes on to those women who cheated on their SOs. I take no blame for their decisions. This is how I lost my dad. After my parents got divorced, my dad started dating this other chick. Lady neglected to tell my dad she had a husband in prison. 1 year passes and the guy gets out of prison, tracks down my dad in his apartment, and offs him. I was 8, and with the divorce came split custody for my brother and I. I will never forget that on that weekend my father was supposed to take my brother and I for his time, but my mom kept us both with her because we had a cold. So if my mom never kept us home that day, we would have been a witness to his passing. Crazy how the world works. Same thing happened to my cousin Tim. Dude was just the kindest soul. I really looked up to him when I was younger. He taught me to play pool and how to talk to girls. Well, one day he just UPS and moves to Salt Lake City, met this woman online and decided to make an adventure of it. Well, evidently this woman failed to mention that she was recently separated and that her would-be ex-husband had a history of violence and a restraining order out against him. So, they go to dinner one night at a nearby roadside diner, and unbeknownst to Tim, the husband had followed her there. This man casually walks into the dinner, stops at the table, raised his gun, and then executed my cousin. Then he put the gun down and waited for the cops to show up. He didn't physically harm his wife. Now, I'm not saying she got away unscathed. Witnessing something like that is going to fuck you up for sure. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't blame her. I did, and I still kinda do. I actually have a story about this. So I hooked up with a girl who had a long-term boyfriend at the time. I didn't know, and we had few encounters over a 2-month period. One day I was curious and decided to look at her socials, and that's when I found out about him. I never bothered to look because I was being ignorant, and it was first time being in a FWB situation, so I was excited and wanted to keep it secret. As I scrolled down her socials, all I saw were pics of them on expensive dates and trips, and I just felt so bad for the guy. I felt like I had become the thing I hated the most. So that same night I decided to DM him about the situation and send him the texts between me and her to show him proof. He then called me and sounded really hurt, holding back tears, and all I could do was just say sorry over and over. But he thanked me and told me he would be leaving her. I then blocked her number and thought it was over with, but later on that week the girls showed up at my place of work and damaged my car. Although I was angry at the moment, I chose not to press charges as advised by the police, not USA, because the damage was minimal. But yeah, that's my story. On a positive note, he found a new girl who looks way better, and they equally appreciate each other outwardly on their socials, so yes, it was a happy ending. Hooked up with a girl at a party once. We hit it off and arranged to go on an actual date the next week. About an hour later, someone told me her boyfriend had just showed up. I gave the dude a beer, explained that I had no idea she wasn't single, and that I'm sorry. He gave me a massive hug and thanked me for being upfront. We both told her to fuck off and spent the rest of the night drinking and singing karaoke together. Top bloke. I didn't feel bad. I was lied to, he was betrayed, she was a cunt, nothing more to it really. I hooked up with a lady at my gym. She didn't say shit about being married. She came to my place the 2 times we hooked up. I saw her again at the gym with a dude. When he went off to go do something, I went over and said hi. She said don't talk to her here with her husband around, she will call me later. She called me later and told me her husband worked out of town a ton. When in town she was with him. When he's out she's free to do as she pleases. We did not meet up again. Did you tell him? Nope. That can go badly, and that dude made me at 6 feet 220 pounds look small. I ran into an old girlfriend in a college bar. Things went as things do sometimes, and she stayed the weekend at my place and had some marathon sessions. I was cold ghosted after that, and found out that she was engaged and her wedding was the next weekend. I honestly vomited and tracked down the groom's parents, as I could not track down the groom. His father was angry but appreciative of my honesty. The groom eventually called me and no wedding took place. Jesus Christ, that's horrible. How did you even find them? Like through social media or something? Long before social media. Groom's last name, Dad was a contractor, and I did a little digging. Yeah, I did it one time. Sadly, I knew she was in a relationship. I had just gotten out of a long relationship that ended because my so cheated, so some part of me feels like it was some sort of mental revenge. Kind via, I've been wrong so I don't care if I wrong someone else, sort v thing. Next morning I felt like complete shit and still feel awful about it. Never again. Women or men, it makes no difference if they're knowingly doing it. It's all about them anyway. It's about self-validation and lack of empathy. The world is factory for narcissists. There is some solace in knowing the only person they will ever have a meaningful relationship with is themselves. My friend came home to visit from living abroad for 15 years. His wife was pregnant with his first child. He was hitting on every woman he came in contact with. We had 2 conversations about it. Each time he justify it one way or another. I'm doing those women a favor. Life is short. It's mutual. It's a natural desire, people do it sometimes. She won't know anyway. It's my last chance. I finally had to sit him down and tell him, if you're messing around on your wife, I don't want to know you anymore, lose my fucking number. Good move. Because if he has no morals towards his wife, he won't have morals for you. Even less. And sooner or later when he sees an opportunity, he will fuck you over. It's not my responsibility to not sleep with other guys' girlfriends. It's the girlfriend's responsibility to not be cheating hoes. Cheating is never the fault of the other guy. It's 100% the fault of the committed party to believe otherwise, if just plain stupid and nonsensical. I have made a commitment to my partner, and she has made a commitment to me. In no way would I blame anyone but her if she decided to cheat on me. While technically true, this does not completely absolve you of blame. If you knowingly get involved with someone who's in a committed relationship, I don't see how you can say you're not condoning their behavior. It's like saying there's nothing wrong with being the getaway driver as long as you're not the one robbing the bank. Happened twice. First time, I did not recognize her as I met her at a house party. We kind of hit it off and went back to her place. Finding out afterwards, yes, it made me feel terrible. Second time, met someone at a party I went to with a friend. They kind of seemed to hit it off more than I did, if that makes sense. We get invited back to her place as we leave, and on our way there she mentions that she's married. Her husband travels a lot for work and she claims that their marriage is an open situation. Well, we started, but about 5 minutes and I just felt too damn uncomfortable about the whole situation and I stopped. Did not feel good at all, and morning after I hurried out of there. So no thanks, not again. The whole thing about it makes me feel bad. I don't see a problem with the ethical non-monogamous relationship or being part of it. But the way you describe how she positioned it sounded somewhat sus. Your instincts were likely correct. It's also still completely fine to not feel comfortable about it and leave. I didn't at first. My attitude was that it was on her for cheating. I was just some guy trying to get a nut. I was pretty selfish back then. The guilt came once I was actually looking for a relationship myself. I couldn't trust any girls cause I knew so many who were cheaters already. That's when the guilt set in. I had the opportunity and turned her down. I liked her a lot as she was an ex that I still had lingering feelings for, and her boyfriend was a love rival to me. But I acknowledged that he did far more for her than I ever did, treated her incredibly well, and deserved better than for me to do that. Man was putting her through college and taking her on holidays to distant countries and giving her a place to sleep, and she was trying to fuck another guy after all that. She probably still ended up cheating, but I didn't want to do that even to a guy I was kind of rivals with. I also thought I deserved better than to be a side piece. A guy like that deserves a faithful partner. I had a bully in high school. Fucker tormented me for over 3 years. He had the same girlfriend throughout the time he bullied me. However, he only bullied me when no one else was around. After graduating from high school, I went to college 50 miles away where most local graduates went. Lo and behold, my bully's girlfriend was living in the dorm building right next to mine. We struck up a conversation at a party one night. I ended up hooking up with her on a regular basis for the rest of that school year. So yeah, I slept with my bully's girlfriend and have no regrets. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.